Perth 2020. Society is in ruins, and a virus runs rampant among the world's humble citizens. They are lost. In these dark times, three wayward nerds cross paths at the House of India and realize they are destined to be friends. And so they did. This is their story. The story of the Side Quest.
Welcome back to the Side Quest podcast featuring two guys with cars and one guy with no car.
My name's Matt.
And you have a car.
Hey, my name is Luke.
And he has a car. And my name is BJ, and I got fucked in the ass today.
So, did y'all get it looked at when you bought it first, or were you gonna do that today? Was that was the
so bit? My plan today was to go and get the car registered, to get plates and tags.
Which did happen.
That went off without a hitch.
I was actually surprised with us being there at around 12 o'clock, and you only being in there for 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Every time I've had to go to that DMV, or whatever, it's not the DMV, but it's
the county clerk.
It's always taken 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, every time I go in there, it's usually for something simple, so it takes not a lot of time. Yeah. Got that done. Last night, we went and picked up some license plate brackets. Pick the cotton faster. We picked up license plate brackets and then a frame for it so it doesn't look like dog shit. And then went over there today, put that on. I was going to switch the headlight bulb, but then turns out that was also just unplugged, just like the compressor. So I was like, okay, cool. Just plug that shit back in. And then I was like, all right, Matt, let's go home. Get to the first curve. And I'm steering and doing my normal shit. And I was like, the power steering just went out. And then Matt
were you in the passenger seat?
Yeah, so he said the power steering went out. The second he said that, I was in my head, I was like, okay, that, I just was thinking about, power steering that's on a pump, which is on a belt. And I was like, the compressor is also there. And I was like, fuck, the AC's not cold anymore. It just feels like pushing air. And then I looked over at his dash and I said, was that battery light always on? And he goes, nope, that just came on. And I said, dude, your belt's fucked. And it
turned it right back around, parked it in my parents' yard again, opened the hood. Serpentine belt was just fucking shredded.
Yeah.
And I was like, God fucking damn it. Had to leave the car there again. Went back up to my grandpa's house, whose car I've been borrowing, because my Highlander's engine fucking exploded on the way to work the other day.
Yeah, he pulled it up as we were leaving the house, and he was like, also, I didn't understand 90% of what he said.
Yeah, you have to have
old man, southern
old man that used to drink a trash bag of beer a day,
a gibberish kind of thing. But I did hear engine's blown, and I was like, oh, engine's blown, fuck.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, well, fuck, okay. At least this one is working. And then I pulled it out, and then it was not working.
Dude, so. I was legit worried for a sec, because I was at work, and we were in the middle of a rush, and then I leave the line to get a drink. I go, and I just see, Matt be like, oh, yeah, dude, if you need anything, let me know. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Open the text, and I'm like, oh, sick, awesome.
Oh, yeah, he right by Goose Creek bypass, his car went out.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, do you need me to, pick you up or, take you back home? And, maybe we can leave the car there and you just leave the money for the tow, there with the keys. And he was like, no, the tow truck just came. But it was, 4 hours?
It was 4.5 hours.
Even though they were I'll be there in an hour.
I'll be there in an hour.
I will say, though, every single fucking tow I've ever had has always been 3 hours late.
But I'm also...
even when we picked up Luke, remember? And then we realized...
We literally went and got food and came back.
And I was
still beat them.
Oh my gosh, we literally just could have filled up the fucking spare tire.
Yeah.
At the gas station and done it ourselves.
But I'm wary of leaving the car behind because of that time my car got fucking stolen in high school.
Yeah.
So... it was bullshit, and now it's more bullshit.
What's even funnier is I looked at the text and went, that age like milk, when I go, hey, well, at least you have another car. And you went, yeah, lol.
Yeah, I was excited to show it to you today, but here we are now.
I was hype as fuck, because I was ready to just be like anybody on
the
this
inside's super fucking clean.
Yeah, the only thing it needs is really that trim piece for the that door that swings open.
You mean the back hatch?
No, in the dash.
Oh, I didn't notice
That-
there's a hood.
That spot where I was putting my sunglasses, there's supposed to be a door there,
Oh.
but I mean it's not necessary.
Oh yeah, my
whatsoever.
Subaru had a little like flap above in the
Yeah.
middle. Yeah.
Well, whenever you get it fixed, I'm very excited to see this car.
Yeah,
Or
me-
you, or do you think you're gonna? Well, because you kind of have to have a car because your engine exploded in the other one, so
Yeah,
it is just a thing of I'll just fix it up. Might as well.
yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna spend a lot of money on it, getting new
Yeah.
parts, even parts I don't need. I'm gonna fucking replace.
You just in case, just be like fuck it.
I think that they're either it's a wheel bearing on your passenger front wheel or it's a new shock. Needs to be replaced.
Well, I was gonna replace those anyway. I'm gonna do wheels.
Well, did you hear how like when it goes over bumps, it makes a clunk sound?
Yeah.
That's either a wheel bearing that like all the bearings are like busted, so it goes clunk clunk, but you don't hear grinding when you're driving, so it's probably not a wheel bearing. What it probably is, which is the exact thing that happened to mine, is the hydraulic shock that's in there is busted. So all it does is it's only the thing that's keeping it up is the spring, so it just
Yeah.
goes clunk, clunk.
But I was gonna replace the suspension, the brake lines.
To be fair, with replacing a fucking hydraulic piston is only two, like genuinely like two screws. It's literally because it has 3 bolts at the top and then 3 bolts on top. So those
Yeah,
are
because
easy.
that shit is all stuff that I was like, oh, I can do this myself.
Yeah, just get
Like just
the only thing we don't have here at the house. Again, I have all of the fucking impacts and all that kind of stuff. The only thing we don't have at the house is the actual jack. I have brand new jack stands,
yeah.
but I need to get like.
I mean, I can grab the one from my parents' house whenever we need it. So
Yeah, because like that's the only thing I need.
if
is,
I
like,
could
a
ever get the goddamn car here, that is.
3-ton jack would be really nice.
Yeah. So that's my day. How's everything with you guys?
Well, I was with you.
Yeah.
How was your day, Luke?
It was great. Read some more the Solar War.
Yeah.
It's great. Love the book. It's awesome.
Do you like
and
the
I'm in,
audiobook?
Well, if I'm at home, I'm not doing it. But yes,
but
I
have
am-
you listened to it?
Yes, when I'm at work, it's audio, and then when I'm at home, it's
The audiobook's great.
great. It's great. I haven't had, with the exception of one of the readers on Iron Gold, I haven't really had a bad audiobook experience yet. Like it's always been like they usually find a good person who's like a decent like narrator and all this stuff that I'm like, oh, this is good. And so like so audiobooks are great when I'm at work, but I definitely am like I'll turn on some music, like I'm in bed just kind of leaning. And I'm like I open the book and start going.
I've made a playlist or starting to make a playlist on Spotify for music to listen to when we play Space Marine 2. That's all just heavy metal shit.
Yeah.
And I found a band that literally
That
has
just does power metal for
Yeah.
Warhammer.
Yeah, they have 2 albums that are just Warhammer.
It's so
Nice.
fire, dude.
It's really fucking
I feel like
good.
I've seen an edit on TikTok that was Space Marine 2 gameplay to like power metal stuff, and I was like, and I was
the
like,
fact that I was able
Yeah.
to do my edit over the white stripes.
White Scars,
No, the edit I made for Space Marine 2. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Over,
White Stripes.
Yeah, White
I
Stripes.
almost said with the Salvation Army. Song, but that's not the
I
one.
feel like I could do it. I could
Seven
make
Nation Army.
for my own gameplay. Just make another TikTok edit.
Did you see?
Also, our Warhammer video is doing really good.
We need to talk classes.
Watch that.
Vanguard. That's dibs. I need to be fast and a sword and a gun.
Okay.
That's what I want to do.
Then there's 2 others that I want to be in, depending on what BJ chooses. I'm assuming he's gonna pick one of the others. But and our for some reason the episode that we did where I finished caught up to
Yeah.
Berserk has done really well. Like consistently better than everything else. We already
Yeah,
almost
we're
have
almost at 100 views on that one.
98.
Nice.
So I don't know
Thank you
why.
for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Also, yeah, there's that one guy who's always listening. So shout out to you.
Big
Yeah,
shout out to you. 'Cause,
Number one Luke Glazer fan.
Yeah. And
hey man, Dragon Age 2 enjoyers. There's only a few of us, but we
There's a kinship.
yeah,
There are dozens
yeah,
of us.
strong ties.
dozens of us.
So there's like
There's at least 2 that I know of now.
there's the Vanguard class, which has like assault weapons, a melee, and then a grappling hook, which is what you want to be.
I really like, and this is just all. Anytime a game lets me have it, just because of Devil May Cry, you give me a grappler, I want it so bad.
Then there's the other one, which I think is pretty dope, but it's the one that's essentially the guy that just has melee. You don't get a primary weapon, you just get a secondary, and you can choose from power fists a chain sword.
The energy weapons as well, like the energy sword.
No,
Oh, you
only
can't-
one class gets that.
Which one is that one?
That's the bulwark
Oh,
with the
okay, yeah.
shield.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think that's the one that I was looking at
The shield, so
because
you get a
can
second,
drop the banner to give everybody
yeah,
else shields.
that's like a support one, so that's good. Because but then there's the heavy, which is like you get power fists,
In the fucking
power
hammer.
gloves. Sorry, the hammer, or I think there's one other weapon. I think it might just be, the dagger. It's a dagger that you like are really fast, and it's a lot of sweeping attacks.
The Vanguard.
But
Gets,
that one is the jetpack, so you jetpack up and you can do the smash attack.
the Vanguard gets like small weapons in one hand and then a melee in the other, right? Or is it
No,
just grapple?
Vanguard is like the assault class. It
I
has,
need-
you
I need
get
to
like an
look at it,
actual
yeah.
like
Assault, right? Yeah.
assault
I need to
rifle.
look at the classes again because I there was one I saw where I was like, that I need to play that.
Yeah.
I think it, yeah.
But the one I'm really thinking is the fucking heavy, especially. And so you don't get a secondary, and your melee, you don't even get a melee weapon. Your melee is just swinging around. You're stomping and you're just swinging around your big gun.
So
because his is like he does. It's called the Iron Dome, which is just like a void shield.
Are we gonna be able to do this in the story? Because the story mode is 3-player, right?
Yeah.
So are we gonna get to pick a class in the story mode too, or is it just for like PvE multiplayer stuff?
No, you should be able to pick a class in story mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if like Titus is locked to a class, or if you can just be like, no, you pick whatever you want for him. Because like I'm kind of with you where I might play it multiple times or like a couple. Because I doubt the campaign's gonna be super.
Well, I'm gonna
long.
have a solo play and then a group play, and definitely here's the thing is for our like us three, I want to put it on like either like the second to hardest difficulty. I think that would be really fun, just to actually be like challenging and us to like have to really work together and us even though
Well, the reason that I'm really drawn to Bulwark is because of the fucking times that I played Overwatch and I was tank.
Yeah.
Because I just love shielding from enemies.
yeah no so his when he puts up the shield it's auto parries any incoming attack, so it's really good about that. But then heavy, if you can just like essentially make a team around protecting the heavy, it goes so fucking hard because then I'm sitting there like just plowing through enemies and that thing.
The things that I'm honestly excited for because the few gameplay stuff.
I
I've
don't think
seen
anyone's
is-
gonna play the sniper class though.
No. When in a
Not
horde,
in campaign.
yeah, in a horde based kind of thing, it feels like not the right move. You know
Yeah.
what
I
mean?
did see though, so when they were giving like the beta test to like streamers and people like that to review, there was this one guy, or not one guy, there's other like people like creators that essentially was like, oh, in like the week I've had it, I've like leveled up my character to completely, and they showed what like max level characters of each were, and they like this one guy was saying the two best max level classes are the heavy and the sniper, but sniper only becomes good
Like after a certain threshold.
once you get like upgrade like your skill tree. Once you go through your skill tree, the sniper becomes really good. But the bulwark's great because you can go through your skill tree and have your what is it called, your ability, I guess, your
ult.
essentially. You can even have that revive enemies, so you just run to a downed, oh, not enemies, revived allies. So you run to a downed ally, you place it, it'll revive, replenish.
So it's really support and tank. In
Yeah,
one class. I fuck with that.
Some people have gotten the game early.
That's why I like Moira so much.
Dude, I'm the deluxe edition. I didn't even know there was one. It was selling for $250. Which
Tell me about the statue.
the statue is amazing. It's Titus holding a Tyranid by the throat like this.
Is that the one you got or
Sick.
No, I didn't get it
Okay.
because guess how much they're selling on eBay?
like thousands of dollars? Yeah.
Like 800 to like
That-
$1,200.
That's one that after a while.
and that's
I will-
800 starting, and then bids open.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on that Xenoblade 3 Collector's Edition. There's a day coming where it'll...
I almost there is the ones I keep seeing is the Japanese one that are relatively cheaper, but like the American ones that keep coming out are like the cheapest you can find is like it's like max $200, but it doesn't come with a game. And
I mean,
it's like,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I have
Here's
the
the thing:
game.
is I just need to, because I probably can, but like what I need to do is just every collector's edition for games that I know are going to be good, just buy the collector's
Pre-order.
edition, and then be like, even if I don't care about the game, just sell it on eBay,
Well-
and
Yeah.
then make $600.
I mean, even just keep the game and sell the extra shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Take
and
$60
I-
off the price.
If there's games I know for a fact I'm gonna enjoy, like when I pre-order, I'll be like, I'll pre-order the collector's edition, and then after a while, if it's like I'm
Like
not
I was
feeling
so
it, I'll just
torn
downgrade.
buying the Starfield, even though I played the game not to its entirety,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean,
But the
its
collector's
entirety
edition-
is like new game plus 3.
That's
Yeah.
true. That is true. But never even finishing the first one, like even then, the watch and the collector's edition, all that shit goes.
That watch goes so goddamn
Did
hard.
I told Matt this? I bought it.
Yeah.
I have the watch at my house. Because I bought it.
Bring it over.
Amazon had a cheap like pre-owned version. Didn't come with the game, so I didn't get the steelbook.
Did you get the case?
Yeah, it's the watch with the case and.
Oh,
everything.
it comes with the case where you turn the handle.
Yeah, turn the
and
handle,
with
put
the
the-
bars
Yep.
that unlock
That's
it.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
At
It
least
suck.
we do have the controller.
Yeah, the controller, and we have. I mean, what's not on here is we also have the Titanfall collector's edition helmet. Which
Yeah.
again, I wish that it was a helmet that they did for the collector's edition, because I would pick that up
For Space Marine.
for Space Marine 2. But and then we have the Metal Gear Solid 5 hand.
Flicking off.
Yeah, flipping us off.
We've got
Another
right
special
there,
edition.
right there, God of War's 2018's collector's edition
Yeah.
statue that I
We play video games.
shocking.
We do like those things.
I still need to get some Switch cases to put that cover art that you got me in, because that would be the center of my collection. Matt showed me this really interesting YouTube video the other day of this guy that was he just like reviews music from stuff and how the composition like references other things, and he was like he never did Xenoblade, so I think I just need to spam his comments and be like, hey, Xenoblade 2, fucking do it. But the Final Fantasy one he did was really good.
Yeah, I did the thing that BJ hates, but I think he hates it. But what is good about it is because he tells me he hates it, but what I know is what it does is then he watches it in his own time, and so then I'm like I don't have to rewatch a video I've already seen.
I mean, that's exactly what happened with Mighty Car Mod.
yeah, exactly. So it's like I'll show him a video and I'll
That'll
only
show me
watch like
trailers.
5 minutes of it, and then I was like, here's another video that he does, and so we never watch a video in its entirety. But I know.
Speaking of which, last week after the podcast ended, there were 2 things that happened. We watched a little bit of the Battle of Buster Scruggs, and Matt went to the bathroom at one point, and there was this part where they were putting a wagon wheel back on, and he comes back, and I
Oh,
was like,
yes.
dude, you missed it. They were putting a wagon wheel on.
I know you
You
love
would have
that
fucking
shit.
loved it. And Matt said, fuck you, faggot. And then like 3 hours later, we were watching YouTube videos, and he was doing that thing where he like fast forwards, like you think they're about to get to something interesting, and then he'll fast forward. And I'm like, I fucking hate the way you watch YouTube videos, cunt.
Yeah.
And then he let it go.
Well, I forget which one it was, but there was one where I even
See,
had to
because this is the thing. Unless it's a movie, I'm just gonna say like, here's something I think you're gonna find interesting. Here's a little trailer for it. If you want to watch it in your own time, do it. But I've already deep dived into this thing, and I'm not about to do that again.
Here's the thing that I understand where you're coming from, but like I'm not like BJ, where I'm like I have no context except you show me a cool thing, and so I'm like, well, I saw the cool thing. Why would I watch the rest of it? So like I haven't like there's probably not I don't think there's been many YouTube videos that we've started here that I've gone back and be like, let me actually go because you keep the way you talk
That's
about
not
it.
true, Luke.
No, the way you talk
That's not
about
true.
it.
That's not true. You're reading the Solar War, okay?
You didn't show me this on YouTube. You did an entire 2-hour presentation.
He technically did show you it on YouTube.
That's true.
But also skipped around. You didn't
No,
show me
we've
Solar
watched
War.
the Astartes in full completely multiple times.
Yeah, but they also watched
But
it before I met you.
he showed you all of it here
Here.
on YouTube,
Ooh, that's true.
which is where we currently are. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Like, comment, subscribe.
I like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, well, he didn't sit there and go, anyway, yeah, let's go. Anyway, let's just move forward. You should go check it out on your own time. And then we just talk normally. Like, and besides,
I disagree. I think that I've just shown you things that you're actually not interested in, except for the things that are interesting. And then you're like, I don't need to go into it. But then I show BJ, I'm like, hey, these fucking guys, you really like them. They do stuff about Japanese cars and Japanese culture in Japan. I'm just going to show you a little bit so you know it's not fucking bullshit. And then watch the rest of your time. Because, especially with their fucking movies, they're hour-and-a-half long shit.
Yeah, they're feature length.
Yeah. So it's not like I'm about to sit there and watch that when I've literally watched them all like 3 times.
Yeah.
No, but like watching like a thing like Astartes or just like relatively shorter. Like we've watched Astartes over again because it's great. But like there are things that you've shown us that are like max 5 minutes, and you still won't even watch that. You'll be like, all right, anyway, here's this new thing, and check this. This is funny, and then you'll keep just going and finding a new thing. It's like you watch YouTube videos like I listen to music in my car. where I will probably just kind of.
I'm not feeling it. Boop.
Yeah, like you'll just switch over to a new song because you're like, wait, actually, I'm in the mood for this. I'm in the mood for this.
Sure, I get that it might be annoying, but at the same time, I think okay. If we're talking about last week, if we really want to talk about last week, you were in no condition to watch anything.
That's true. You did pass out.
Was it last week or the week before that? The one after the Warhammer one.
I mean,
because I was drunk as fuck and passed out after Warhammer last week.
After
I was just
Warhammer,
chilling.
you did pass out last week.
Like last week. Okay, so 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
you were in no condition.
Yeah, because I was.
And that's
drunk
when I
as fuck.
did the thing where I showed you parts of things because I was like, I just have to keep their attention. I can only have like 2 minutes to keep their attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, but last week it was
Do
fun.
you know what we're gonna watch tonight?
No.
Whiplash.
Awesome. I love that movie.
I've never heard of it until
Dude.
today. But we came home and I was really.
It's fucked.
It's.
Like, I love the movie, but holy shit.
I said it's J.K. Simmons' best performance. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because we came home and I was like in a really shit mood.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna start drinking right now, and we're putting on the Bear. No arguments here.
And so then in the first scene of the Bear, where it does the flashbacks to him in New York, and the guy that plays Jeff from Community, who's the chef that just like talks down to him and shits on him. I was like, this really reminds me of Whiplash. And he was like, what's that movie? And I was like, no. Like I was like, I forget the name, but like when I say it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I was like, Whiplash with Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons. He goes, I've never heard of it.
Also Miles Teller's best role, I would say, too. Because
Miles Teller has been in some good shit.
He's been in some good shit, but I think he, like, because I liked him and Jonah Hill in War Dogs. I liked him in,
War Dogs is my favorite for him right now.
War Dogs is great. I like
he
him in Top
he
Gun.
was in the new Top Gun.
He got to marry Ana de Armas in that movie, so.
Yeah.
He was in Top Gun.
He's good in Top Gun, but I don't know. There's something about him in Whiplash, which, again, J.K. Simmons in Whiplash. They really nail those, shout out to J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. Clap it up.
But there's something about that
Clap
movie.
your ass for J.K. Simmons.
God, I wish.
Shake it.
That was a big gay.
Throw it back for a real one.
For real.
No, yeah, I'm excited to watch that though, because I feel like it's also gonna be. I don't know. It's not gonna be as stressful as Parasite, but like there are moments where
my
I'm like,
comfort movies.
No. It's more stressful than the get the fuck off my expo chef. It's more stressful than that.
Because my comfort movies are like Marriage Story, Train Spotting.
That's exactly why I was like, we're
rewatching
watching
The Bear.
this tonight.
yeah, dude, no, that's gonna be so funny to me because like Marriage Story is a comfort movie.
I will say that without spoiling, I mean, he has no context to anything.
Yeah.
But the ending is almost good and sweet.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere, you're like, how can this recover into like a movie with a positive ending? And then it does, and you're like, that's fucking weird and messed up, fucked up. But
like I kind of like it though.
But you're like, but I guess
I guess
he
that's
did
sweet.
it.
Yeah. It's
He
like,
did it. He made it, and you're like,
I think if I rewatched Birdman today, I would like lump that in with Marriage
That's
Story and Train Spotting.
Birdman is Keaton, right? That was
Yeah.
that weird superhero kind of. Yeah.
Exactly.
I need to watch that. I've heard it's good.
Because I watched it when I was a teenager and I fucking hated it.
it's like kind of art housey in not like the film style, but like
Storytelling.
the
style.
storytelling style. Yeah, where they do a lot of like, it's like more focused on. There's not like inner dialogue, but they're more focused on like the inner journey.
Yeah.
Of a movie, and instead of like, oh, this is the physical story that's happening, you're like really focused on like the inner turmoil of a man, which I guess shouldn't be art housey, but
now that my brain is developed, that's the shit that I love.
Yeah.
100%.
It's funny that I hate that we're at a point now where like, because I saw an article where someone was like, yeah, studios are not going to take chances on like that kind of stuff,
And I hate that.
but which is why I love, as much as I know they mainly do horror, but they do some weird stuff here, is like A24, just pretty much letting people do
love
whatever the
A24.
fuck they want to do.
That's true.
Like
We wouldn't have
Anywhere, Everywhere, All at Once wouldn't happen. Didn't they do The Green Knight as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
they did The Green Knight. Like, those are not movies that like Fox and them are gonna ever.
They did
do.
Hereditary.
That is
too,
the
didn't
weirdest
they?
thing
Hereditary did,
about
yeah.
Green Knight is I actually really like the movie. I can't explain it, and it's one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen.
I can't explain it, and I can't really recommend it to people either, because
No.
when they go, "What's it about?" I'm like,
You just
you know
gotta
Sir
watch it.
Galahad, you know, like that's about it.
Well, it's like
It's good though. Like I really fucked with it.
I do as well. I've seen it once, and after seeing it, I just was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, but the whole time, I really liked it.
You also
Even
thought about
though-
it for a hot minute though too, didn't
What?
you? Like, you also thought about it for a hot minute. Like you watched it, and you're like, it was on your mind for a hot minute. You're like, what the
Well,
fuck?
here's the thing: it's because of the ending.
Yeah.
It's mostly because of the ending that I was like, "Oh, that's pretty neat." Even though, if I were to say for 90% of movies that do that same thing where the end and you're like, "Oh, it was all a dream," I'd be like, "Fuck you! That's dumb. That's like stupid cop. That you're copping out of writing a good story by being like, it was all a dream." But then when you watch it, you're like, "Oh,
Well,
fuck."
it also helps that the Green Knight is an old story that
I mean, it's from the same age of Beowulf.
Didn't it also like wasn't that one of the first instances of it was all a dream and people like, oh, Dad, do run with it.
Beowulf, yeah.
Yeah, like Green Knight as well. It was all those things.
But I'm saying
like,
it's the same. It's the same like generation of like
Yeah.
old English
Yeah.
fucking fairy tale.
Yeah, and like they pretty much got first dibs to do all those stories, and then now that's all we keep comparing to is like, oh, what should I do? Well, I read this story in high school once, and I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, this high school level literature.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say anything about that because one of my favorite books of all time is Anthem, and I had to read that in high school.
Is that no? Remember that's Armada from Ernest Clare. I was thinking like, what is Anthem? Is it?
It's Ayn Rand, the lady that wrote the most boring book of all time. But this one's kind of fire. It's like a dystopian future where it's like it's super communism essentially.
Yeah.
Where they don't even have like singular pronouns. So instead of saying I, they all say we.
Oh wow.
Kind of thing, and they've like rejected modern technology in favor of just being one of the whole, and like, you know, just going back to like feudalism kind of thing. And then the main character finds like an old sewer grate, and he goes down there and he basically rediscovers electricity, and he makes like a light bulb, and he takes it to like the council, like the higher ups, and he's like, hey, this could help all of us. He's like, this is great. Like, this could progress our society and everything. And they're like, this is heresy. Like, you've gone against the whole kind of thing. And then at the end of it, he basically goes the complete other way, which in itself is also not a good thing because he starts talking about, like, it's just like one monologue at the end where he's like, yeah, me and my friends and everything that I want to do kind of thing. And it's like, well, yes, but also you're not considering yourself as like,
you're not considering yourself as a community. You're considering very selfishly you and you.
Yeah,
alone.
it's very much a commentary on communism, but it's also showing the dangers of like individualism, like hardcore as well. So it's very interesting in that way.
It reminds me of. Did y'all read The Giver?
Yeah, of course I did.
I didn't even know that was a series until like last year.
It's 3 books.
I continued.
Insane.
I read it in class, and then because do you remember Miss Potts from? Rest in peace. I know
They really though, like in.
But she got me into reading, and then we read I think The Giver, or whatever, and I found out they had more, and so I just read the rest of it, and I was like, oh shit, this is actually really solid. What the fuck?
It's so interesting that when you like pit like that, like the idea of communism is like the enemy of communism is individualism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, that's why really communism never works, because then like it's always just the people on top. You know,
Well,
it's like
because the thing is, communism as a whole doesn't work because the people on top have their individualism.
or
what
like
they
like
want,
like
you
or
know,
like
they
here's the thing,
think-
it's like, oh, my dad who's like a farmer that provide that, you know, because it's communism, just gives food to everyone for free.
I mean,
It's like, oh, if he breaks a leg, and everyone's like, I'm not gonna pay to like for his surgery, and you're like, well, you're not gonna get food, and then the collapse is there.
I mean, the death of everything is greed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
100%. Dude, I was just looking at Instagram when I was peeing, but
not even
Taylor,
holding his dick.
yeah, it was just doing its own thing, and it's like Taylor is not like far off from making like Rule 34 shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if I asked her, she'd make me whatever I want.
Yeah, but like I just start seeing like her like when she's like doing like initial sketches for drawing, and I'm like, wow, these people are thick as hell. We should, you know what I'm saying?
We
Like,
should commission Taylor for a side quest calendar. And every like there's a 3 months thing. There's 3 of us.
Yeah.
So it evens out perfectly.
Yeah,
We each
for
get,
4 months.
Each gets
We each get a
progressive more.
month. We each get 4 months, and then it's just like sexy hentai of us.
That's yeah. But like, like tasteful.
No.
Yeah, but like those dick pics where it's like the full length mirror and you got the blanket over your cock.
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
Or the leaning over and there's a pillow there, or like.
We could just take these pictures right now.
All right, thank you for watching this episode.
We're gonna end this episode early.
We
thank you
got
for
some
watching.
photography to do, baby.
And we'll get it out of the way right now. But shout out to our sponsor, Dubby. Use code Take It Sleazy at checkout for 10% off if you're looking for some, jitterless energy powders to add to your drink without any fucking added colors or anything like that. Natural, using coffee bean extract. Use it.
If you don't drink Dubby, then fuck you.
Yeah, we don't want it.
The words of Ricky Bobby ring true.
That needs to be when we get our tub.
Our shaker cup.
It needs
whatever.
to say, if you don't drink W, then fuck you. And it's like
I
like
will
all
say
3
though,
of us just
if
like
I was Taylor making like sexy artwork, and if I did like go to conventions, it like opens up a world of just real creeps coming to your stand.
And she already gets a lot.
That's
of
what I'm
that.
saying, and I already hear from her like people already trying
Taylor's
to hit
got
on,
some horror stories.
especially when like half the time she doesn't even realize it's happening,
I would love to get Taylor on just to talk about that.
because like she was at a convention and somebody had to tell her like, "Are you okay? Do you want me to get this creep out of here?" And she was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Oh, he's been like creeping on you this whole convention." And she was like, "I didn't even fucking realize that."
it was. I mean,
Sometimes ignorance is bliss.
well, she.
Yeah.
I remember last time because she was like, "Yeah, they put a fucking porn artist right behind me and whatever."
Yeah.
Which
That
is
was an
ironic,
MTech.
because that's the artist I got some prints from.
Yeah.
Granted, none of them porn, all fully clothed, but still. No worry, it was 2 Tifa and 1 Cloud thing, and the Cloud one was actually cool. The one that was iffy on Tifa was the one in the purple dress.
Yeah,
Speaking
I mean-
of, like,
Yeah.
was it last night or 2 nights ago that we watched those like cosplays from the cons?
It was last night because it was after the music videos that we watched.
Yeah.
I noticed an OnlyFans artist in there that I follow. Artist.
But like anime, New York Anime Con just happened, and these conventions are crazy, man. Like they have whole Crunchyroll booths.
Yeah.
Like all like Aniplex booths.
Well,
Like
yeah, like
the
all.
Aniplex one was fire because
It was.
the Aniplex, like, that's stuck in my head forever since Full Metal.
yeah.
Dude, I want to go.
Aniplex.
I doubt we'll get big enough to go, but I would love to do like Jump Fest one year.
What's Jump Fest?
That'd be
It's
crazy.
just Shonen Jump where they
Oh.
announce all the new shit for the year, and like, and that's anything related. And it's like It's like an anime convention, but it's like E3 but for Shonen Jump specific.
It was also cool watching those videos because they had like panel videos of like crowds full of people, and it's just people that we've talked to personally.
Yeah. We the one at because I had seen why I wanted to watch somebody like a video of the cosplay and overview of New York Anime Con was because I saw videos of
It was Bryce, right?
Bryce Pappenbrook was at Anime Con like doing stuff, and I was like, like that's cool. Like we got to like talk to him.
We
for a
talked to
bit.
that guy.
Yeah, and so, and then even in the Anime Con, they show him at the panel, and I was like,
Is our MTAG video out yet? Is it still?
Don't even ask.
yeah, but
Sorry.
to be fair,
Sorry.
I'm most
and
excited.
if we can do it before
Before MTAG next year.
no before Onicast does, which
Cast.
sorry, Awesome
Awesome
Cast,
Cast.
Awesome Cast,
You're thinking Oni plays.
Awesome Cast will be golden, because to be fair, our last MPC hack video was like,
the video.
but also we did it like our video way before they ever put out their interviews.
Theirs was
for,
like 2 months before the next MTech.
Exactly. So like I mean, here's the thing. Like I'm not like worried. Like if anything, well, I think the only thing we really need to do is just post the interviews, because I think we've gotten close enough with Basil
Basil.
and John that like
I'm really excited to
Especially,
edit the
like-
sketch though.
yeah, but I'm saying we've just gotten close enough with them that where it feels like it's also MTAC, which is, you know,
A podunk Southern Anime Con.
and so it's like, I mean, it's better than fucking Multicon.
Fucking facts.
Yeah,
Fuck
but-
Multicon.
Yeah,
And fuck Danny Trejo.
that's right. Mhm.
Did you see they put out a thing, the survey where like, would you like to see other actors in Yakuza? And some of them were like The Rock, Dave
No.
Bautista.
No.
And what was there was another
There's
one.
only one person I'd want to see playing. It's the Beast.
Yes,
Well, that's the thing. Like we're
You
like
said he. What was your like cast for him?
dude, Saejima all the way.
Saejima.
He's got the Saejima build. I want to see him kill the 18 people.
Yeah.
kill.
Dude, I don't
Rubber
even
bullets.
think we talked about it on the podcast.
That's the dumbest shit.
Well,
by the
we
way.
did talk about it on the podcast, but we didn't talk about how after we talked about the movie that with the Beast that we saw where he fucks up people with guns. We showed it to Luke, and it's still like the most insane thing seeing him go John Wick.
That hallway scene that he has is basically just what happens in the ramen shop to Saejima. So I
Yeah.
know he could do it.
We need to see
Him
more,
flipping the gun on his shoulder, busting people in the head.
dude.
Well, hi, Lance.
Yeah, dude. Yakuza comes out this next month.
Yeah.
Gross.
I
But
don't know.
we'll
How,
be in California.
yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it because like, I think I'm gonna go in with like, hey, this is because. I don't know, because
All the things that I've seen about it means it's either going to be really fucking good or it's going to really piss me off.
the thing is, do you want? I mean,
The biggest thing is they told him not to play the games. And then,
they told the actors not to play the games.
right.
The
But,
writers and the other one, we don't know about them, but they straight told the actors don't.
but that's my point,
Yeah.
is because in Fallout, fucking Walton Goggins
did not
is
play
the
the game.
one guy that didn't play the games, and he is the best character
Yeah.
by far.
Well, because there was never. I think when you don't, there's a weird thing, right? Because obviously you have like Henry Cavill loving Geralt enough that passion brought Geralt to life, versus like Walter Goggins being like, I have no idea about this, so I'm just gonna bring in my own what I interpret from the script and my own experiences into this, and you get two really fucking good characters. One in a garbage show, one in a great show, but still.
But
And,
there's also a dichotomy there because on Witcher, no one cared except for Henry Cavill, and that like he made that production.
Henry Cavill is the one who cared because everybody else. Not to say that it's their fault, but like
I mean, at
the
least
act-
on like
the-
season 2 onward.
Well, like the actresses and actors who were playing the side characters, they were there just to obviously get paid because of their job. But like Henry was like, no, the Geralt wouldn't do this, he wouldn't do this, stuff like that. But,
Here's a random thing. So I found like saw a TikTok video of essentially it's all the behind the scenes like extra stuff from the Lord of the Rings movies that somebody just did like their whole like Instagram or TikTok profile was just
that's those archiving them, pretty
just
much.
archiving them. And I was watching one where they were like talking about how like all the hobbits when they would all like be together every morning for their like either prosthetic feet and prosthetic ears and them just all hang out. And they were like also like half the times we got ready we would have to like read up on our new scripts because they were constantly
evolving and
changing the script because they were like we wanted it to be something that like what would be out of Tolkien's mind and the Tolkien universe. And it's very clearly like even with they like pitched it and they're like, okay, this is great, we got greenlit, we also need to make this more true.
I'm glad that you brought that up actually, because the Rings of Power have started introducing orc families and orcs that just want to be left alone and live in peace. That's not what the goddamn orcs are. They are born from evil and they do evil and then sometimes they die.
That's literally like they're the same as like the orcs in fucking Warhammer.
That's what makes
where it's like they're born, they die, that's it.
They just do bad shit.
That's what makes I mean, I would other here like for the most part like a traditional good enemy is just somebody who's pure evil because then it's easy to hate. Like there are other well-written characters where like, oh, I can see how their side, like Abby in Last of Us. But these are orcs.
So you can see Abby's side now.
I mean, Abby still fucking sucks, and I wish that fucking
Ellie killed her.
Ellie killed the fuck out of her little fucking friend.
speaking of
I was about to be had to bleep some stuff out.
Speaking of the shit we were talking about earlier about like all the revenge and all that stuff. That's what makes Vinland Saga good, is because like Thorfinn like doesn't do the I'm gonna kill everybody, but then that last guy be like, no, you know what? No. It's not good. He like learns it at a young age and like practices it. Whereas Ellie goes the whole game and kills everybody, and then goes, yeah, but Abby, the one who killed Joel, you're good.
Well, this is I think it wouldn't work in Lord of the Rings, and I think why Tolkien didn't do it, because also Tolkien is a really good writer, is it's not a story of like complex human emotions. First of all, it's a fantasy realm.
It's
Second
good
of all,
versus evil.
It's good versus evil, and then if you want a character to have complex emotions, it's Frodo when he starts to be corrupted.
Yep.
So you
Exactly.
do get a character with like complex emotions, but the real evil is pure, and that is a really good thing to see.
And that's another thing with pure evil is it's corrupting.
Yes. And that's why they show like the whole issue with like the Age of Men, and why the elves are not fucking about it is because men get corrupted, not just by Sauron's evil,
Just by like
but
greed,
just
and, like,
greed
yeah.
and
Human
power.
nature.
Yes, and so that's like you already get all those elements, but to make Sauron's evil anything other than pure,
Yeah.
It waters it down.
it waters it fucking down.
Well, and that's
That's again like show complexity in other stuff. Like that's why I say Book Boromir is so amazing, is because you see this thing of literally he is the hero of Gondor. He is this guy that the fucking troops rally behind and think this is the man that's gonna like bring us into the new age. He's gonna bring us out of the fucking dark ages where people are like struggling, orcs are raiding us, and Boromir is like a man of the people. And that's why Faramir, like you get all these like even like when Frodo meets up with Faramir, you get all these things where like Faramir looks over, and then it talks about there's like a flashback, and it's all these things where like he is like
he
rallying,
could never measure up.
he's rallying troops, and Faramir also agrees. Like that's the part about that you never understand, is you think he resents Boromir. He never does. He also agrees that Boromir is like the best ever, and that he is a man of the people, and he is the champion of Gondor. Like all those things. And so even that's why he thinks like, oh, I should probably like, I give up, and it makes sense why my dad hates me because I'm not him, and it fucking sucks that and then seeing him corrupted by the power of the ring, but also the corruption is not him wanting to do evil. It's wanting the power to be able to defeat the evils of Mordor, so that he can free his own people.
That's what I like.
It's again,
That's
you
what I like
see
about
complexity here, but don't make the fucking orc. Don't make
The orcs is not the place to do that.
Orc
Well, like-
sympathizing is not the fucking way.
Well, like
to do
case
it.
in point, like if you want to, like the thing about Lord of the Rings that makes it so good is it is good versus evil. If you want a really complex in that scenario, The Witcher is literally made for that. Like Sapkowski wrote The Witcher because he thought Lord of the Rings was too boring in terms of its portrayal of good and evil. I disagree with that statement, but whatever. But then he decided,
because of all the things we just were able to mention.
But then he decided, I'm gonna make literally a thing where you can't tell who's good, who's evil, and he uses dwarves, elves, like literally that the thing.
Because here's the thing.
You saw like in Lord of the Rings how the elves had like this beautiful art infrastructure, all this stuff. He took that and said no, but the humans fucked all of it up to the point of pretty much making elves second-class citizens. You've got the Scoia'tael trying to get all the shit back. Like it's constant civil war. Everything sucks. And then monsters came out into the world, and it's like fuck. Let's take these boys, young children, experiment on them, feed them poison.
Oh yeah, we watched Night of the Werewolf.
Yeah,
it
great,
was awesome.
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 I wish they would do some Game of Thrones shit. That studio.
Yeah.
Please.
That studio is, dude. That studio's working on everything. So they're doing Sirens of the Deep. They did X-Men '97. They did My Adventures of Superman.
Are they doing
They're
the new?
They're doing the new Sirens of the Deep. They're doing Devil May Cry.
That's what I was gonna say. Are they doing Devil
They
May
did
Cry?
Legend of Korra. Those guys
Yeah,
are everywhere.
I noticed that when we watched it.
So here's
Studio
the thing.
MIR are everywhere.
Even if we talk about like, and I know I'm only 30 years old, but my perception of reality is for the most part like, that's why the writing in orcs is good. What you're doing is you're taking something evil and you're writing, and you're trying to introduce goodness into him, and that's not really how it is. Like even if we're talking about like it's like the whole thing of like corruption of innocence of a baby. Like babies are innocent. They don't fucking start off evil and then they
don't come out the womb smoking crack.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. It's like it's not also real. It's like why stories of villains that I think like are with complex emotional villains is it's always like a villain that wants to do good, or it's like a
villain that believes they're correct,
or a
like
villain
something
who got corrupted.
Yeah, who got.
Yeah.
It's like it's so you can't like something that is evil can never like start as evil, not become other. That's where I think it's like a dumb writing to be like, and yet like I mean I guess the Grinch is a way of that where like, but the thing is though the Grinch was never
evil. He was just petty.
Well, also
and,
but that was also the creating. He was like treated differently.
Well, the thing about the Grinch is a real motherfucker. He just hated the capitalism of Christmas.
But also, like,
the
everyone
Grinch is
like
let's also be real. The
made
Grinch
fun
is
of him
correct.
for being fucking furry and green. But
the Grinch was also correct because he had loud ass neighbors. They wouldn't shut the fuck up, and he was just trying to enjoy his night.
The Grinch only wanted to eat Spam and fuck around with his dog, and everybody hated his ass.
Well, like, it's just you can't do that. Even like it's so hard to have a believable villain that goes, "Oh wow, what you showed me today has really lightened, like, changed my heart." And that's even, but you can do that when they previously were good, and you're like, oh wow, like maybe friendship is worth saving.
You know what I think really does that like actually super well, and nothing else is The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
I don't know if they even ever gave him a name, but the wolf that like breaks into their compound and then he gives his life to save the lady that runs the pantry. I wish they would have done more of that and kept that going, but they just kind of ruined the fucking show.
The Witcher does this constantly, where it's like because of the way the world is built, which that'll be what I get into when I'm playing is one of the Witcher games. But
two?
Two. The world is so fucked that like even like what would be considered an evil act, you then do a little bit of digging. It's like, oh, it's desperation. He's trying to feed his family, trying to get a thing. Or then, oh, he was this. And then you find out, oh, this guy was raised this way by his evil fucking half-wit father. And it's like, it keeps coming back to, again,
you never had a chance.
No one is like born truly evil. It's the circumstances or stuff around them. And
except for Sauron and Orcs.
Except for Sauron.
and Orcs.
Was Sauron born? Wasn't he just like, it was like the Lucifer God thing of like, he felt he could become better or whatever. Like, what was the...
My thing is, you can have one or the other, and you can't fucking switch lanes in the middle of it. You can either have pure evil or complication, and you can't mix them up.
Because, like, I don't know too much about, like, Silmarillion lore. I know just general Lord of the Rings. When you get into the wider lore is when I become a novice. But was Sauron always just evil from the get? Or was he corrupted by power and then it got so bad?
So he is like the spawn of a god, or, creation of a god. Kind of on the same, they're called Maiar. So kind of the same level that Gandalf's on, but okay. I think he's one tier up. And here's the thing with Sauron. He wasn't always evil, but he always had, like, he was created and he didn't start doing evil acts until he had the ability to do them.
Yeah.
Was it like
so
an
it's
ambition
not like,
thing?
So it's not like, oh, he was corrupted.
Absolute power.
It was now he had the ability to and the power to. So then he started fucking with making like hybrids between elf and man.
So what you're saying is
like,
Sauron is a Primarch and Gandalf is an Astartes.
Yes, but Sauron was always evil. Essentially, it was more like when he had
the ability,
have the
means to do his will.
Yeah, but then when he started like fucking around and finding out, he was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm gonna."
This feels pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. It was never like he was good,
because I know based on like the Shadow of Mordor and War games, it's like, what the fuck is Celebrimbor and him were like buddies?
Celebrimbor fucking rules, except for in Rings of Power.
Yeah. Well, that dude, I still don't understand it. Again, with like Halo, The Witcher, and now Rings of Power. I would say more Wheel of Time than Rings of Power, because Rings of Power was just, they didn't get the rights to the shit they wanted to do, so they did their own thing. Witcher and Wheel of Time and Halo had the rights to the whole lore, and they said, fuck it. Amazon was just like, fuck, I don't know, we have to do something with it.
Here's the thing that I think about, is WB still has the rights to the Shadow Mordor games, right?
I believe so.
Well,
probably.
they also own the rights. I had a whole long discussion with Cody about this.
Do they own the rights to fucking the Nemesis system too.
Nemesis,
Yeah.
Nemesis, and he's like, "Why haven't?" And
It's gonna be in the Wonder Woman.
It's
game,
and I
Wonder
right?
said,
Woman's the next
and,
one, yeah.
and so I said, like,
They better not fuck that game
and
up.
here
For
Cody
real,
disagreed because I said I'd rather, and I know this is grim, but it's the state of where I am with both media and video games. Is I would rather not have.
And oversaturation and like
Yes, I don't want it to be fucking battle royale. I don't want it to be a thing that then everybody
Everything
does.
has to be live service, and if it's not,
So
then it's
so
gonna fail.
and he was like, so you'd rather not have it than like have an oversaturation? And I said,
Yeah.
I know that's dark of me to say and really dark, but
but that
yes.
would breed way more quality than.
But
we're
yes,
getting.
because I know, because here's the thing. Both games, 10 out of 10. Even though the Nemesis system really came out in 2.
War made the Nemesis system what it is.
Yes.
Like
that's
Mordor,
true, but it's also really fucking good in one.
it's really good in Mordor, but like you're like, oh, this is really fucking good. How do you make this better? And they go, give me 1 second. And
Yeah, and
you
then
play
literally
War
you're
and
in
like,
the middle.
Fuck.
You literally defeat somebody, and then all of a sudden you get a whole ass cutscene from like, oh, because you killed this one guy. You're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, they gave so many like,
or like you're in the middle of a fight, and then one person that was like the arch nemesis enemy of another guy that you're fighting comes in to
God.
kill him, and
you know,
you're like,
no, you know a game that could use a Nemesis. I don't know how personally, but I think it'd be really good. Also, WB helps publish them. Is The Witcher. Witcher 4 could probably implement it as a Nemesis.
I'll
at some
one up
point.
you.
I was
I'll
gonna
one up
say-
you. Mad Max.
That's
Yes.
exactly what I was gonna
I
say.
said Mad Max.
Yeah.
I'll one, because it makes sense as fucking warlords in
Yeah.
the fucking
Yeah,
desert.
fighting over territory in the fucking desert.
And
That's
they
perfect.
own the rights. They're WB.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I literally that's what I said to Cody. I was like, fucking Mad Max.
because
What-
Mad Max is just Shadow of Mordor with cars.
it
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It's the better version of Rage 2.
So, and I know it's grim to
Agreed.
say I would rather
Although Rage 2's
not have
shooting mechanics, some fucking
an
solid.
oversaturation, because he was like, oh, but then you might get like other
Well,
companies
that-
making good versions of that, and I was like, sure, but then it'll just be watered down.
The problem is that like look at like Helldivers 2, right? A game that came out that we've never seen something like it before, the way that game is presented. Now, let's fast forward 4 years. How many Helldiver likes are going to be out because of how big that shit became?
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like, and it was cool now, but are we going to get tired of it like Battle Royale? It's like, it's another one. Cool.
I mean, if they do,
I need another PvE horde thing again.
if they do an Imperial Army like one, I'll fucking buy it.
but that-
The
that's the
problem
thing.
with the whole industry is that everyone is trying to follow a trend.
Damn, you right?
Yeah, anytime I cough or sneeze, it's like
Oh,
death.
the rib thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
fuck.
in incredible pain.
Yeah. I live in Gazimbay.
The problem with the gaming industry is everybody wants to follow a trend instead of making something original.
Well, and the thing is, following a trend would be fine if you could get something out in the moment. The problem is, in the case of Conquered, fucking 6 years, 8 years development time, and it's like, yeah, by this point,
It's already been pulled.
Not only did you, and then you released it next to Valorant coming to console, Overwatch having a new season, and Marvel Rivals is about to drop. Like,
Yeah.
it's things like
Gay
that
people
where it's like,
eating good this week.
It baffles. I mean, it doesn't really baffle my mind because all these fucking dickheads in the top only see dollar signs. But like,
All I see is dollar signs.
it becomes an issue where like, yeah, like the oversaturation of a market is because
Throw it up, throw
they
it
want to
up.
keep pushing
Watch
out
it all
the
fall
same regurgitated thing over and over again. Like, I'm kind of glad we're a little bit away from it. But you remember when every game came out and it kind of had to be an open world game of some sort?
Yeah.
Like, even games like, you had Arkham Asylum, which was like kind of a roguelike, go back and forth, get new gadgets, do the thing. Arkham City was then fucking the city of Gotham.
Yeah, Arkham Asylum is kind of a Metroidvania
Yeah.
in 3D in a way.
And then,
I'm really glad that you had the same idea about.
I was
Max.
building up to say that.
yeah.
It makes me really
It
happy.
is, and that's a great idea. That's the thing. The thing
It
that
fits perfectly. You just have other warlords that are taking over, like, oh, he's a new king of Gasoline Town, like,
Exactly.
and the Bullet Farm, like, done.
I just want to see WB use it. Like, I'm glad it's being in the Wonder Woman game, but the fact is that the Wonder Woman game is being made by the Shadow of Mordor people. So of course they're going to use it, and it's like, you have the thing, license it. If you really want to, if hey, we want to make money off of it, then fucking license it and have it to be like, hey, show us, like, you have to pitch us an idea, and if it's not good, we're not licensing you the fucking product.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Like, and then case in point, like they do like publishing for CD Projekt Red. You could say, hey, here's the Nemesis system. Would you like to use it?
WB is publishing?
They publish in the US for CD Projekt Red.
That's true.
Yeah.
Don't you get a WB logo before
Witcher
Yeah,
and
it's all
Cyberpunk?
red.
Yeah. I don't think they publish in the UK or anywhere else, but it's definitely the US is WB. Because I'm pretty sure. No, I'm wrong.
Did you know what
Atlas,
else?
I
I had a
think,
really good idea.
You know what else
for
is in
a
WB?
D&D character.
Terminator?
That's true.
dude, the anime's out. Terminator Zero.
Is it already out?
Yeah, it's out on
It's
Netflix.
on Netflix.
Apparently, do you guys know anything about it?
Yes,
We watched
talked
the
about
trailer.
Okay, yeah.
It's a alter.
A what if kind of thing of like
It's
what
just
if
like
yeah.
if it
It's
was
still
in
Sarah Connor though, right?
It's Sarah Connor.
Sarah
Because
Connor.
it's in Japan. That's really the only difference.
I'd be so because apparently
Tokyo.
I want to watch it because it looks cool.
What studio is doing it?
I have no clue, but I need to check.
I mean, it might just be the Netflix studio.
The thing, probably, although Terminator and is another one, yeah, because WB does own them. That one, I don't know if you could do Nemesis for that.
I don't know if you could, but it's still an IP available to them.
Well, they
Even though
did
there's that
do
new
Resistance, Terminator Resistance, which that one apparently is really good. I need to play it. I have it on my PlayStation because I guess it was like on sale for hella cheap.
I just saw it on SteamDB.
Is it Genesis the one that Emilia Clarke is in?
Yes. No.
Genesis was like the first new one.
So it was Genesis.
It goes 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Genesis.
I'll
There was.
Is it Retribution?
Yes, yeah. It starts with an R.
Is Dark Fate the fourth of the new ones, or was it third?
I think it's Dark Fate. That's the one that with
That's
Emilia Clarke.
No, Dark Fate's the newest one. With the CGI'd, deep faked younger versions of the characters,
Yeah.
like Arnold and.
They do a deep fake in the Emilia Clarke one of Arnold, but they actually had him there. So it's
They had Arnold in Dark Fate too. It's just I don't know.
that's the one they put in more.
Okay,
Kombat,
Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis, and then Terminator Dark Fate.
Okay, I think it was.
It's got to be Genesis.
That is
because Genesis was because it wasn't the first, it was the second one because that was when
Yeah.
Game of Thrones was popping.
I like that movie.
Apparently, speaking of another game that probably didn't do so hot, Star Wars Outlaws apparently ties into a lot of the plot lines that Solo.
I don't give a fuck. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're-
I'm sorry.
Because I saw they reprinted that book that Emilia Clarke's character is like the main character of, which I guess takes place between when Solo dipped out and left her there, and how she became part of the bad guys. But apparently they're
The cartel with Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Just give me more Cal and Marin, please. That's the only thing I want from Star Wars games.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get a sequel. There's a third Jedi game. I think that's the last one. I swear to God, though, if any of them die,
I hope that the third game is just them still saying, "You really are the Jedi survivor."
Or how about like it could be like Jedi staying alive.
You really are Jedi staying alive, Cal Kestis.
It's Jedi still here.
how far?
Jedi's still doing
How
stuff.
far did y'all both get into Survivor?
I didn't get very far at all.
When I'm essentially it's a little bit after you meet the boss or the bad guy in the fucking cryostasis chamber.
I still think if you're looking to get into Souls games, Fallen Order is probably the best introduction to that formula that you
Agreed.
could ever have.
Agreed.
I'm gonna be honest.
I mean-
Jump into Survivor because the stances in that game will get you into also because that becomes more of a Sekiro like
Yeah,
from
definitely.
there and it dude, it's fucking great. I
Where
literally
would you put Pinocchio?
Liza P. I would say you start with the Jedi duology, and then you go Liza P. and then
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Yeah.
What about Sekiro?
And then
Sekiro, you could go either
Sekiro, it's hard to place because it's a different formula. You have to change the way you think about things
Every
to play
so-
Sekiro and Bloodborne.
Every Souls game for the most part is defensive
But-
and like stay back. Sekiro and Bloodborne are like
Well,
go in there
rush
and
down.
fight, rush. If you are defensive, you will die. Like they
But
want
I
you
think
in.
I think that's why it plays well into Jedi, and then you have to change your
I thi-
stance to be like less.
That's the thing. I think Jedi Survivor leads pretty well into Sekiro and Bloodborne because you're constantly changing.
There's
lightsaber
really two
stances.
paths you can take.
Yeah.
Because also, if we're going over difficulty curve, it really does end with like Elden Ring.
Not really.
No,
You think Sekiro's more?
I think
Sekiro-
Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, Dark Souls
is
2 and-
the peak of difficulty.
You'd say 2? I'd say even over 3, because I think 3 is.
Yeah, because in Dark Souls 2, there's enemies that will just appear behind you and backstab you out of nowhere.
That's fair, yeah.
Like 3 is at least fair and balanced, where 1 is. It's more of an evolution on 1 than it is 2.
Yeah. Well, because I think they were working on, was it Bloodborne, and then someone else was working on 2.
Yeah.
And then Miyazaki came back to be like, all right, well, fuck it. If I'm gonna do Dark Souls,
he's like,
I'll
I'll show you
3.
motherfuckers how to make a sequel. But
Boy, did he.
tell me what happened with Inotria, because I saw the thing and I
So-
was really.
Apparently, Xbox just they have it like they want to make it for Xbox. Xbox hasn't got back to them. So it's gonna be a PC and PS5 exclusive.
I'm okay with that.
Let's go.
Yeah, honestly.
Honestly, if that's what it takes for Xbox to learn their goddamn lesson.
Yeah, and it's things like that. It's continuously going. Yeah, I think this is the last gen that I'm gonna be on the Xbox ecosystem.
I know
Do
that
you think Wukong's gonna be Game of the Year?
it's definitely going to win some awards. I'm very much looking forward
I
to playing
think.
that.
But I think Dark Souls definitely opened up the way for Souls-likes to be widely accepted.
I mean, that is the game that started everything.
Yeah.
Like, Demon Souls was not very well accepted, and then they perfected that formula with Dark Souls. And then everybody was like, oh, maybe we could try that too.
Well, and even then, from what I can gather from this game, it plays more like the new God of Wars than it does a Souls-like. Which I guess those are inspired a little bit by them in terms of like shoulder button attack or whatever, but you can change those back to classic. But like,
I mean, but
My thing is
here's
the
the same-
soundtrack is going to be peak.
At the same time, though, like God of War, what both 1 and 2 were Game of the Year,
1 got it go over Red Dead.
and then 2 was
2 came out the same year that
Last of Us.
I think it was Last of Us got it. No,
It was
You-
before that. Cause
it was either It Takes Two.
Are
or
you
Elden
talking
Ring.
about Ragnarok or
Yeah.
New
Yes,
God of War?
Ragnarok.
Okay.
Ragnarok.
It was either It Takes Two or Elden Ring beat out Ragnarok. Because I know Ragnarok didn't win.
I doubt It Takes Two beat over Ragnarok.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I think It Takes Two came out before that.
So, anyways, but I don't know. I really truly believe though. I mean, it'll be different from when we play, but because like Helldivers came out this year, right? It wasn't in the last Game Awards.
Early this year.
But it wasn't in the last Game Awards.
No.
I think Space Marine has a real, maybe not winning it, but is going to be a Game of the Year contester.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see when it comes out. I
Yeah,
think
it
it'll
lost to
definitely-
Elden Ring because Elden Ring and both Ragnarok and Elden Ring. Although no, Ragnarok because it didn't make it for the year, so it did lose to who won last year.
Wasn't it? It wasn't Tears of the Kingdom.
Baldur's Gate. So it lost to Baldur's Gate because they got
Earned.
they got
Yeah.
because they
Yeah,
lost technically. I still think the Game of the Year award should happen somewhere in like January, February because like God
Yeah,
of
it
War
needs
and
to
like
be at the
Smash
beginning of the
Bros.
year.
God of War and like Smash Bros. Both had to do it for the next year they came out because they didn't hit the cutoff time. Because yeah, God of War Ragnarok I'm pretty sure didn't make cutoff time, and even if it did, it lost to Elden Ring, and if
Yeah.
it didn't, it lost to Baldur's Gate 3. So yeah, both games deservedly won that one. But
I don't know. I think
Space Marine is going to do really well, and it will probably win some stuff. But I don't think it's going to be on the Game of the Year discussion. I think Helldivers is going to get it. I think Black
What?
Myth.
see that's what I don't I think that it's gonna it's gonna literally like everybody who's playing Helldivers are gonna be like,
They're gonna migrate,
and they're like, oh, this is what I was a little boy playing Helldivers.
and now I'm a man.
Now I'm a man.
I
fighting for the Emperor.
I don't
Like I do
Because Helldivers feels like it's warming you up for Warhammer shit.
100%. You're an
It's
Imperial,
the fucking Terminids and Mechanicus.
but you're also like you are just an Imperial soldier. You're just a human fighting in this thing. You're fucking expendable. Then the next game you get to be an indestructible force of fucking the willpower of the Emperor. Like, and which goes so much harder.
I just don't see it having the same legs that Helldivers because of how it's just PvE only.
I disagree because the whole point of what makes Space Marine 2 is you have skill trees. You have replayability of like, oh, I'm going to do harder difficulties that now I can get more points so I can upgrade my character. So like you never got to do that. Helldivers is like, oh, I played 5 more of the same map and now I get to new stratagem.
I get to buy something.
And then me, who is level 69, I go in, I'm like, oh, a new stratagem. I can buy it immediately because here's the thing. I've also reached the cap amount of like requisition
Materials.
points, and so I'm just constantly like, oh, something new came out, boom, spend it. And does it change the game? Not really.
And then in fucking Space Marine, it's like, oh, let me try a whole different class and level that up and see what it does for me.
I'm saying mostly. I think it'll win Game of the Year awards from somebody. It's not going to be on the game awards because the people who like
I
put
think
them up
it's
there.
I think
they're
it's,
not the ones playing Space Marine.
Well, then I also think that then if we're I also think Black Myth Wukong might not be on anything because it's not fucking diverse enough.
Well, see, that's the thing.
I don't think I think if we're talking about honest,
only Screen Rant is the one who bitched about it. Everybody else, like Kind of Funny, IGN, all these people put those like high numbers, said it was great, did the thing. It sold, what was it, 10 million in 3 days?
Yeah.
Black Myth, I can almost guaranteed 3 games that are gonna be on the Game of the Year list. It's gonna be Final Fantasy Rebirth, Black Myth Wukong, and Helldivers. I can guarantee those 3 will be up there. Now the rest of them, I have no fucking clue because I haven't played much else.
For
this
sure.
year.
I'm not gonna hate on Helldivers.
No, yeah,
but it has fallen off.
Oh, hardcore. But like again, that pop off, you couldn't escape.
I agree. It was one of the most fun I've ever had.
But I think we're going to see that again with Warhammer.
Well, I hope so.
For multiplayer, I think it's going to come down to Warhammer versus other thing that we just talked about, Helldivers.
Again, it's if the votes are enough, fucking the COD heads are going to fucking be like Black Ops 6 and has zombies mode. And so I'm only going to vote for it.
I mean, it really doesn't matter because the day before the Game Awards comes out, Alan Wake Battle Royale is going to come out and it's going to sweep.
Oh yeah, I was like, what the fuck? When did that go? I was like, oh yeah.
He's just talking about how fucking Alan Wake just swept the Game Awards.
Yeah, whoever comes out later in the year, you got some awards coming to you.
It helps that Alan Wake has the same Kojima effect because Sam Lake, the guy who does it, is like big friends with industry people, and he makes art housey games. Which after playing Alan Wake 2 after the Game Awards, I was like, I think it
this
deserves.
is what I think of Alan Wake. It's just like it's like a more art housey version of Evil Within.
That's how I see it.
I would disagree. I think Evil Within is scarier in a horror game. These are thriller and more of like it's more mysterious. Evil Within is straight up like, so what about the worst thing you could think of in terms of horror? Put that in the game.
But like half of Evil Within is like you just going into your fucking mind and like having like you like get these fucking like it does the thing where it fades to white in Evil Within and then you're like and then you come back to reality and the whole place is filling with blood and you're like, oh fuck.
Evil Within goes hard.
Evil Within is some of the best horror I've played. I will
Evil
put that
Within
down.
Great.
Why is they not? Why is nobody? No, you're good. I interrupted you, but why have they not licensed like Stephen King video games?
The Mist.
Dude, honestly, I think a Dark Tower game would be pretty good. Actually, yeah, that would be
as like a single player story mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder too because I think they definitely could. Some of the books definitely don't cater well to a single player structure or even but yeah. But I want to be wrong.
Spam X to gangbang if your childhood best friend.
Let's not. I want to be wrong because like I want Space Marine 2 to blow up like you guys did, but like Helldivers, I couldn't escape it even at work. My work friends were talking about Helldivers before the game came out, like because it was getting hype and then the game came out and all they could do. I've heard I talked about Space Marine 2 and literally they're like, I don't know what that is.
I'll give you that, but
and that is where Helldivers got, where they got the casual people who don't fucking play these.
Just wait for it to come out.
Just give it like a
but that's what I'm saying.
2 days for TikTok to fucking blow it up.
But that's what I'm saying. TikTok has to blow it up. It has to do that. And sure, Warhammer's always kind of been on that fringe of we're this close to blowing up.
But the only reason that I played Helldivers is because it blew up on TikTok.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if Space Marine 2 will have the same effect. It
100% will.
The number 2. I think some people, because there's still people who this day will go, and won't play it. Especially when they find out it has a campaign and a multiplayer and a thing. You're like, oh, do I have to play the first one to play this one?
It caters to everybody.
I don't think that matters as much as you think it does.
It has, I mean, it's consistently where sequels will usually sell worse than their previous.
Not Helldivers.
To be fair, yeah.
Yeah.
But they also changed the gameplay completely.
But like if we're just talking about TikTok edits, like what's possible in Helldivers is like, oh, you blew up this thing and you jumped off a cliff and you see big explosions. You're like, okay, that's pretty cool. But fucking like Unreal 5 tearing a Tyranid in half with their chainsword. already goes harder than any other TikTok edit for Helldivers ever could.
What's gonna get Helldiver, like if they can get Helldiver, is if the streamers like Tim the Tatman and all those big ones, if their fans are going play this game, because they were begging them to play Helldivers, and they did for a couple streams.
Can't wait for the Kai Cenat.
Like that's what I'm saying
In full armor, yeah.
like Helldivers did what most games can't fucking do, which is get very mainstream appeal. I think in the gaming sphere, Space Marine 2 is gonna kick ass. I don't think it's gonna get the casual audience that Helldivers got. That's just me.
Well, to your credit, I think that's also just a PlayStation thing, because there was goddamn nothing coming out like there always is on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then people were just like, "Oh, new game, gravitate."
Yeah. I don't know. I want to be wrong because
Something that's not story that I can play with my friends.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, like case in point, if
I can play something on PlayStation Online. Oh wow, I'll do
And
that.
it's not a PS4 game.
Yeah. It's like I think that immediately was what was like.
I mean, case in point, like fucking God of War, Horizon, Miles Morales. So Demon Souls, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank were the only 3 exclusives for a while. Even Gran Turismo got a PS4 version, and so yeah, Helldivers, yeah, as a PS5 game, yeah.
Again, I think that's like the appeal of multiplayer, like other than multiplayer like COD or like first person shooters where it's just like team deathmatch or battle royale. The appeal of multiplayer, for the most part, is your connection with other people. So being able to like you and the boys hop in, kill Tyranids, is going to fucking, now that it's dropping on all consoles at the same time with seamless co-op, is going to be the thing where it's like the co-workers that have been like, oh, I have a PlayStation, I have an Xbox, oh, I've been wanting to play something with you for the longest time, and now we can work together and not just be like, oh wow, Ricky's always cracked it at fucking Fortnite or at COD, so he's always on the top of the leaderboards and I'm just here. It's like, no, we get to fucking work together, which was what Helldivers did well. Yeah. It's the thing, it's the real thing that connects us in video games is being a shared experience.
Being able to have a community around something. Even Elden Ring, that doesn't really have much multiplayer,
still had like the community of
people being able to connect over the story bits and like, oh, if you go over here you can find this thing. Like, that's
Elden Ring also had like ungodly
shared
amounts of
grief.
hype. Well, the shared grief, but
trauma
also
bonding.
Yeah.
But also, remember, it was like we went from Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne here, and then Elden Ring got announced, where it's like George R. R. Martin's doing the story, Miyazaki and his crew doing the gameplay. This is what we're getting, and then it was what, 2 years, however long it was, of like nothing, and so then it got people going crazy, where the super fans hyped the fuck out of Elden Ring, where it became like, oh, they're going crazy. What is this shit? And it just became the thing. And then, yeah, TikTok blew it even more up.
Speaking of which, I recently heard that they got George back for Shadow of the Erdtree story, and all he did was add in the incest.
Which is so funny.
Yeah, like,
calm
down.
I also want to point out, too, George R. R. Martin's never going to finish Game of Thrones, yet Andrew Sapkowski just decided one day, I'm going to make another Witcher novel.
Exactly. I posted in our Discord a couple weeks ago. I was like, there's 54 goddamn Animorphs books, and George R. R. Martin can't finish like a quadrilogy. Kill yourself. And then Ezra was like, fucking facts.
It's so shocking. I don't get it. To be fair, I understand he's also somewhat busy because he is working on House of Dragons and a lot of stuff.
He's not working on House of Dragons. He watched that shit and he was like, yeah, it's bad now. Fucking disconnect. Write the goddamn book, you fat cunt.
It sucks because like, and then,
the pizza's coming.
The pizza's coming. It's gonna be amazing.
I think the problem is you see so many people who are so spoiled by Brandon Sanderson writing like 5 a year that it's like, oh shit.
Well, that's the thing.
But like, even him, he's not in mainstream.
But he's getting there. The Way of Kings are like some of the top selling stuff recently.
Sure, but
Mistborn is going crazy.
Sure,
and then even like. Again,
but here's the other thing: George R. R. Martin was like in the book world was very popular, but until a show got made,
yeah, fair that.
Give that cunt some cocaine.
Yeah, he'll get 2 books.
Get him on the Stephen King pipeline, and we'll have 8 more books.
Well,
by
that's
next
what I'm saying.
year.
Like, I agree.
We'll have the Jon Snow spinoff to get the thing.
Bryan Sanderson is legendary in the book community, but until a media that is his, not just Wheel of Time, but
that's not book talk. Book Talk is porn.
That's true, but
No. That's a sect because I'm on Book Talk, but I've seen nothing about porn.
I don't agree. Book Talk is Gooner Girls.
Well, no, all the stuff that I've seen are people who like hate that shit, but are like sitting there going, "Here's some really good fantasy books you can read." Like someone recommended like Witcher. Someone recommended John Grisham.
I still need to read
John
Between Two
Grisham.
Fires.
Grisham, his stuff. They're like, you need to read his books. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll put that on the list.
There's a really good John Grisham book where it's
Is it Shadow of Gods? Just like that the Malice.
So there's already a John Grisham book that's already out. It was made in the 90s with what's his name? I'll look it up right now. It's a great little story, but it's
I also want to get into Joe Abercrombie's The First Law series. People say those are really good grimdark stuff, and I want to get into that. There's I think 9. Well, okay. There's 2 trilogies and then a bunch of like side and short stories on top of that, and I kind of want to get into that.
So they've done a lot of John Grisham books that have been like turned into movies, but my favorite is The Pelican Brief with honestly really good. It's like a 2.5-hour movie with Julia Roberts and Denzel Washington, and it's Stanley Tucci. Like,
Nice.
it's a stacked cast. It's really good about like, it's just like a thriller where like this one person like has some information that she shouldn't have, and she doesn't realize that she shouldn't have this information, and then she starts getting like tried to be killed, and she's like, why are people trying to kill me? And then Denzel's like defending her the whole time, and then it's like turns into kind of like sexiness of like, oh, he's her protector kind of shit. Pelican Reef.
It's fucking Denzel's a badass in most, except his Equalizer sequels.
Except, what do you mean? The first Equalizer was dope as fuck.
I'm saying he's a badass, except in his sequels that sucked.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You did say that. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Equalizer
sequels sucked.
went hard.
Equalizer 1 is great.
Yeah.
Great action movie.
Yeah.
They should have stopped there.
Yeah.
It adds credence to your thing of stop making sequels, because it's like, yeah, because unless it was written for sequels, like if you go, hey, I have plans for some already, and you just go, here's a one and done thing. Fuck it. It made a lot of money. Make more. Like, yeah. I actually, I wanted to ask too, because we were talking about like, you know, kind of books becoming other things. What do you think? Because we kind of mentioned it back there, but what do you think the Warhammer stuff for Amazon would be like?
It's probably gonna be woke and dumb as fuck.
Well, I mean, if they come to an agreement, because I doubt Henry, because that's the thing, all parties have to agree on this show. So like,
and I know again, this is me being dark and fucked.
Yeah.
And also I'm tired.
fair.
I'm fucking tired.
My rib hurts. I'm tired.
No. Like my soul is exhausted.
Yeah.
By fucking spin-offs and stuff and sequels and like
Soulless cash grabs.
yes, I'm tired. My soul is just bone tired. So that's why I said I would rather wait 10 years for another good Nemesis system game than everybody having it. And it's the same way I feel about Warhammer. If they have to fucking cancel the show because it's not true to form, I'm okay with that. I really am. With me starting to read and how fucking dope and dark and how and here's the other thing. I just said, like, my favorite storyline is Mercedes, a woman who is not super buff and it's not stuff like that. But if they fucking water down my goddamn Space Marines for some woke bullshit, I'll lose my goddamn mind.
Because I know the biggest problem is that already Warhammer has retconned their own lore without Amazon or anybody else's thing, where it's like, oh yeah, it's female, not Custodes, or the
Emperor's Guard.
It's like those happen, but Space Marines are still men. But Custodes can be whoever the fuck the Emperor wants them to be. And I was like, okay. So they're probably, I wonder how.
And that's what I see. Here's the thing. It's like, oh, the best part about the Sister Sororitas is they don't have fucking power armor.
Yeah.
They're just badass.
They're just bad bitches.
They're just bad bitches. So don't fucking write that like this in this Custodes bullshit. But it's like Custodes are, again, they're all like anime main characters.
Well, also to be fair, it seems everything I read about Custodes is they're like, fuck, we don't, they're over there.
Oh, well,
we have the Space Marines.
Technically, the Custodes are under the command of the Inquisition. But here's what's so dope about them is they already when they send them out on a mission, they set the mission as completed before they go out.
It's like they're gonna go out. It's gonna be done.
It's gonna be done.
Are there? Because I haven't found one, but it doesn't seem like there's a novel where they're the main characters.
Custodes are pretty. Again, you might get some shit in that Inquisitor books.
Yeah,
but
well, I want to, once I read the Eisenhorn stuff, I'll let you know. But I know that because you're saying they're pretty much Inquisitor agents, but like or like they're the Marines for the Emperor, but they work with the Inquisitors.
Yeah, they're like sent to like quell like there's like there's this whole like group of people on Terra or on this planet in like the hive worlds that are like starting to worship some chaos god, and now they're like agents of chaos in this thing, and they're like
send out the
quell this.
Yeah.
And even then, they just normally send an Inquisitor to fucking take care of that, because Inquisitors they give them like power suits. Again, they're like the power armor in Fallout, where it's like, they become strong.
Regular dude becomes big boy.
Strong.
You can fight a Deathclaw in power armor.
The thing is, though, the power
probably
armor,
fucked if you have a pistol.
armor on a Space Marine is just like, no, he's just wearing. That's
he's just wearing its armor.
The armor has to keep up with him. At that
the
point.
T-shirt.
It's a T-shirt.
just a T-shirt on him instead of like
Instead of a regular guy getting in and having to use like grips to use the because the Inquisitor
filling that shit out.
In Space Marine 1, you meet an Inquisitor, and he's like, I was like, oh shit, he's in the same like armor. Okay, cool. But then he talks about like, I have psychic powers, and I'm like, oh, okay, so they are different, cool. Because I need to finish that because I've been super into Witcher 2. But
started playing Bolt Gun.
Fucking great, isn't it?
It's awesome.
I fucking love Bolt Gun. I fuck with that game, so good.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. If you haven't played it and you're into Doom, go play it. It's awesome.
OG Doom.
Yeah.
It's so good. When I
but
saw,
even like 2016, like with the chainsword, it's kind of reminiscent of that.
Yeah, no, dude, Bolt Gun's great. But
it fits like the aesthetic of the new Doom, but with the like play style of old Doom.
Yeah. And everything like
it really is a good in between.
Have you noticed now, like, because I play Bolt Gun without any Warhammer lore, just like, it's a fun thing. I went back after the podcast, play a little bit, I go, I know what that is.
Yeah.
I actually know what that means now.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Like, you got some knowledge. We're like, I can piece some things.
after we did that podcast, I was looking through my Switch stuff, and I was like, I already own a Warhammer game.
Which one is it?
Mechanicus.
Okay, because I know there's apparently there's like a Baldur's Gate like CRPG game called Rogue Trader.
Rogue Trader Cody plays the shit out of
Yeah,
because
there's one called Inquisitor Martyr, which I think is a Diablo clone. I think
that sounds fun.
You've got Mechanicus, which I think is an RTS. I think
it's turn-based.
Okay, turn-based. Okay,
turn-based strategy.
Because I know, is it Dawn of War, like the big ones, or like those like old school strategy games on the PC?
Yeah, like StarCraft kind of.
Yeah, similar. Because I know those are like big for Warhammer, at least in the PC gaming thing.
Yeah, like the new one. The new one came out, which was a total RTS, and at the time, like people who were into it were like, "This is one of the best ones to come out." But it never grew bigger than that. I think they were in like best RTS at the Game Awards. Didn't win because
what was Civ probably got it somehow, or a Civ update.
It might have been Civ, or honestly Spice Wars might have gotten it.
Spice Wars Spice Wars. Never mind. Awakening's about to come out.
Spice Wars. I think actually Spice Wars won.
Which I mean, cool.
Or it would have been Civ.
I definitely don't play those games. So any of those, I'm like.
But again, it was
turn-based strategy is where it's at.
Yeah. So
speaking of some strategy, I want to talk a little bit about Witcher 2 because I feel like this game is underrated as fuck.
Go off, King.
But in reading, for whatever reason, I guess reading Solar War, which great book, you should go read it. I was like, I want to read more books. Like, I just want to get back into books again. Like, which I never am out of them. I just don't like commit to them as much. Because I read Red Rising, read the whole up to Lightbringer. So I'm now waiting for book 7 to come out.
The Lightbringer.
It's funny because when I started that book, that's what I thought. I was like, the light, and then I ended it, and I'm like, well, now I'm sad. I saw the Only Plays clip, and I actually was like, fuck, man. But
I couldn't read that without picturing, what's his fucking name?
Not Nostalgia Critic.
The other guy.
Linkara.
Linkara, yes. I couldn't read that without constantly thinking Linkara.
There's Linkara. He's over there. Somebody get his jacket. Don't
give him his jacket.
But I was like, I don't know. So I was wanting to read The Witcher. I texted you guys like, I want to read The Witcher after Warhammer. Because I wanted to say fuck it. I never finished the series. And so then I was like reading Warhammer and being like, oh, you know what I could do on my home is just play Witcher. Like, fuck it. I can get the best of both worlds here. Dude, Warhammer,
is
Witcher.
There like a remastered version of 2?
No, it's just on, you can play it on Xbox 360 or Xbox backwards compatible or on PC.
There's not remasters of 1 or 2?
They're remastering 1 right now. They're remaking
They're full
it,
remaking it, yeah.
And then they'll probably move on to 2.
I'm going to play the shit out of that.
Well, I can guarantee you it's not going to be Witcher 3. it's going to be Witcher 2 oriented, which is hub worlds and more straight. Because unlike Witcher 3,
That's fine.
I'll say this: Witcher 3 is definitely like the more crazy of the stories. Witcher 1 is the most grounded dark fantasy shit. There's only one time it gets crazy, and one of the Wild Hunt goes, "Geralt, you escaped from us," and then like that's it. Everything else is, yeah, this king's about to get killed. You should probably do that. Hey, someone's stealing Witcher mutant gems. We should deal with that. You don't know what's happening, do you? No. Like, that's it. It's the most bare bones, simple story that they can do.
Yeah, but it's updated graphics and
I like
combat, so I'll be okay with it.
Yeah. I definitely needs the combat. 'Cause you know what the combat is in Witcher 1?
What?
You click the mouse, and then when the cursor goes red, you click it again. And you keep, it's like a rhythm-based kind of click the
That's
mouse again.
interesting.
Yeah. I was like, nope, I'm good.
I mean, you say that, but then Crypt of the Necrodancer exists.
Yeah, but Crypt of the Necrodancer is good. This is
And
what
so
the fuck is going on?
What's the
The Hyrule one.
the
Metal Singer or
Hellsinger.
Metal Hellsinger.
Metal Hellsinger. Great fucking game, dude.
By the way, Konami, please make a new Castlevania.
Please.
It's been 20 years at this point.
Is it really?
The DS was the last one that came.
Was it DS or was it
In
the Lords of Shadows?
Lords of Shadow, but that's still like 2008.
It was 2011 for 2.
That's basically
Yeah.
2008 to me.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Netflix Geeked Week or whatever is happening soon, and they've already
What?
stated it's when they announce all their nerd shit for Netflix. It's like Squid Game is getting a season, it's getting a new trailer. Devil May
It's
Cry
about
is
goddamn time.
Devil May Cry is getting a new trailer. Castlevania Nocturne's getting a trailer.
I'm also
Witcher Sirens of the Deep is getting a release date.
in like Squid Games now because
Because he was in The Acolyte?
because of Mr. Beast.
Oh. Well, I don't fuck with Mr. Beast, so
I was
I'm
gonna say
excited for
I
it.
don't watch him either. So
I mean, I don't watch him, but
I will say, almost
like,
too little too late. You should have capitalized on the Squid Game hype when you had the goddamn chance.
because now they're doing the Mr. Beast games, which is just Squid Games.
yeah, but I don't.
Who knows if that's gonna come out because of all the fucking Mr. Beast thing? Which I told BJ, I was like, I don't know. It's maybe just the cynic, the critic, and me being cynical, but like, I was like waiting for the time where Mr. Beast got like his cancellation. I've been looking forward to this.
That's right. Matt has been talking about how he wants to box Mr. Beast live on YouTube. And as long as Mr. Beast puts up the money for an arena and cameras, Matt's going to do it. So,
Like, though, for a fucking fact, like, I lift goddamn doors every day.
beat the shit out of
Like,
that twink.
I would train, clearly. But I would beat the fuck out of him.
if I got to be the doc to your, what's his name?
Little Mac.
Little Mac, I'll do it.
Dude.
I'll get you the pink fucking sweatsuit. Let's do it.
Dude.
Yeah,
yes.
the pink sweatsuit with
the green
yeah,
jacket?
Yep.
Little Matt, bro.
Little Matt, dude, let's go. Hey, we got his Halloween costume already.
Dude.
I'll pump that soundtrack too.
Dude, yeah. I'll beat the shit out of Jimmy any day of the week.
That's his name?
Yeah.
I know nothing about Mr. Beast. I see him.
Yeah,
Which
his
is a
last
synonym
name.
for faggot,
Yeah. Hey,
Jimmy.
Well,
But yeah, Witcher 2 is great. I've
sure is.
The one thing though that is definitely that I'm
Is
getting
that
used
CD
to.
Projekt Red's first IP?
Yeah, Witcher was their first game. Well, they probably made like some computer games before, but Witcher was their first like big one.
Okay.
Witcher 2 though, I want to be honest, man. I'm liking it the main story more than I like Witcher 3's main story.
That's crazy.
Because the thing with Witcher, the thing is Witcher 3's main story is still really fucking good, but like I liked a lot. Like I personally, for me, I think Hearts of Stone's story is fucking top tier shit in terms of CD Projekt writing. The story.
CD Projekt
See
writing.
that, which is crazy because the whole point of 3 is they bring together like shit in the books and they actually like.
Well, because the whole
they give you a fucking ending
Again,
and they tie it together.
I don't
like,
know
oh,
the-
here's like some side stories that are like is just this and this is what he's up to. It's like no, this is big. This is real shit. This is also everyone you love. And we're bringing in like everybody. We're bringing everybody. It's the fucking Avengers Endgame
yeah.
for Witcher,
but-
which is dope.
Oh no, I'm saying the moments are great, but I think generally if I were to like go from start to finish, start to end, writing wise of a story, I think Hearts of Stone is a better story than the Witcher 3's base game.
I disagree.
I think Witcher 2's
The fucking crones in the very like they like you think it's like oh this is just a normal Witcher game and you're just doing Witcher shit and then they're like oh you got to see these crones and the crones are like here's your fucking future and Garrett and this has to do with your fucking
the
fate
fates.
and you're like oh fuck and then they tie it back in to get. I don't know,
Hey,
Luke.
I'm just saying. I fucked with Hearts of Stone hard. I don't know why. I really fucked with that DLC. But the thing with Witcher 2 is
Really, because Blood and Wine is also good.
Blood and Wine is the one I hear the most about.
Blood and Wine is a better DLC, but I don't think the story is as strong as Hearts of Stone. Again, in terms of gameplay, like they're all pretty similar.
Understand the complex that is Luke.
I just fuck with certain stories better than others.
Well, I
know
mean,
you do.
I
know.
understand where
To be
you're coming
fair-
from.
To be fair, I think it's what makes this podcast good.
Yeah.
I do. I just
Yeah.
sometimes I just go, I don't agree with you.
I-
and you have this because this is what I do love about you is you're true to who you are. Like there, you don't unwaver about things that every time we talk about something, and I'm like, oh, this is just the same thing we always argue about. And
But
I
it's-
do love that about you.
Well, and the thing too is like, because my thing is,
I want you to hear that though.
Oh no, like
I hear that I love you.
It's all love.
It is
but
all
like,
love.
But fuck you in certain areas. I
But
get
also,
that. Yeah.
you're unrelenting in certain things. When it comes down to is a good feature of you.
Well,
Is you are unrelenting
it-
in certain things that you like. You don't. You own.
Waver.
You
give
won't waver about.
our audience member some credit, like with Dragon Age 2. I can fundamentally understand why people don't fuck with that game. It went more action oriented compared to Dragon Age Origins, like more CRPG thing. It's a lot. It takes heavy inspiration from Mass Effect to the point where you're starting to go, which like you're just the same series. I fully get it. It's also not dealing with any end of the world, godlike beings, none of that. It's just one city, one character. We're gonna deal with this character's life. Well, that's it. And comparatively to Inquisition and Origins, which are these big, huge, fucking enormous world like traveling stories, fucking 2 is right here. But I fucked hard with 2's like the gameplay is, they're all kind of whatever. I'm not the biggest fan of Dragon Age's gameplay, but the story was great, the characters are great, and then it's the only game with any spoken protagonist where you can make choices that they actually took into account where it's, okay, instead of doing the blank slate, cardboard cutout, they have to sound the same. If you make more decisions based on an attitude, that becomes the default attitude for the character. So when you just say yes or no, they'll say it either sarcastically, more heroically, or like evilly, like whatever you decide to pick. It like all that shit makes that game better. To where I'm like, I like this game. And I don't give a shit if anybody tells me that I'm wrong on that. This game's fucking, it rips. And it's the same thing with I don't know why I think this way with Hearts of Stone. I guarantee you though, I don't know, I feel like, because I'm going to go through the whole Witcher books before I at least play Wild Hunt. Because I'm just playing 2 just because I needed something to play.
This is part of it. Is I even from me knowing the synopsis of 1 and 2. What I like about Witcher is that they finally put an end. It's not like this another fucking story, and you're like, I want resolution in parts of Geralt's life.
Yeah.
And that, because then it makes him less of a character, it makes him more of a real person. You get what I'm saying? Like, for me to go in my life with not resolving issues, you're like, okay, then you're just a piece of shit.
But it's natural for a real person to seek resolution in those things.
That's what I'm saying. Like, instead of you're like, oh, like for a real person to just go their whole life and do this other thing and not seek resolution with the love of their life, a person they consider their daughter, like all these things, you're like, oh, okay, like you're not a real person. You're just this character that just goes on endless adventures.
Yeah, someone is just writing things that is just fanfic about you at that point.
That's why I'm really hoping whatever they do with Witcher 4, whatever they call it, is leave Geralt alone.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Geralt will 100% be in it, but it's going to be Ciri's story.
I disagree, especially
Give it
because
another
of,
Witcher.
Well, no, I think they're going to
From
go
another school.
I think they're going to go into the past.
I'm fine with that.
Because remember the whole point of in the
You know
books
who
at
I
least,
want.
and
You
in
know
the
who I want to be the protagonist.
Vesemir.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I
That
think
handsome
I
son of a bitch.
I think they'll go even further back to kind of give you like maybe not the dawn of the first Witchers, but like enough time where like, because remember monsters are like huge, like canonically.
I think you go right after that. You got a banger.
Yeah, because canonically in the Witcher universe, monsters are a dying breed. Like that's why people hate Witchers, because they're like, we don't need them as much anymore.
They're creating the monsters. So
Yeah,
they can,
like, it's shit like that.
And then they were right. Yeah.
Which apparently I'm gonna get in on this, but I was watching a review from like a huge ass book fan of the Witcher series. They hate everything Netflix has done, including Nightmare of the Wolf and season 1, because they are hard breaking of lore. Like, they fundamentally just say, we don't like that in the books. Do it differently. Even Nightmare of the Wolf does that. Apparently, I don't know, because it's been a while since I read the books. But apparently they hard break lore in season 1 and in Nightmare of the Wolf.
But Nightmare of the Wolf, they don't, because it...
No, they do. Because
sorry. There's things
I have to pee.
in Nightmare... Dude, we also need to end.
Yeah,
I'm so fucking sore.
Yeah, sorry.
It's
can
not
talk
your
about
fault.
this,
This position I am in. So, the one thing that is true, though, about Nightmare of the Wolf, though, is the end of creations of Witchers.
That part is true,
That
but
is true.
it's the fact that it was technically the Witcher's fault. In the books,
no, it's not.
It's the bitchy mage and her, like, they did it, and even Vesemir's whole, like, his dad, master, whatever that guy is, they didn't do it.
No,
it was 100% other people.
100%
Again, I'm cool with it because I think the movie was cool. I'm cool.
Sure, I think it adds conflict, but they generate conflict that's not there, but it's still conflict, which you need in a movie.
Yeah.
But I agree, because I also knew this. But like,
I just think Nightmare of the Wolf is cool, and I think 100%, awesome.
It's
so, like,
cool.
I'm cool with my thing is I'm cool if you break a lore to make it more interesting. Like season 1 of The Witcher, I liked, even if they broke some lore.
To be fair, I think I would have liked
problem.
it more though if they just made all the humans the enemy,
I have a question.
or even the mages.
Well, we can talk more obviously on pod, but like, do you think they for Witcher should they just have started with a monster of the week, do all the short stories first, and then start like kind of similar to the books are for the Netflix show, or do you think they should have done Blood of Elves and then keep flashbacking to things? Because that's
clearly they should have done how the books, where you get a groundwork of who Geralt is, and then you start to, because it's the whole Joel character arc. Because what's so good about The Witcher is even though different than Joel is hardened.
Yeah,
for a fact he's hardened. What they make you think in the Witcher universe is that Witchers do not have emotions. That's not true.
Yeah.
But they live up to that because they're like, if I start to feel shit, I'm just gonna be like,
this job's gonna suck.
I'm just gonna be hurt by the people around me.
Well, like,
But
canonically,
I do
Geralt,
agree that they should have done Monster of the Week, because then you can like, even if they lived up to that Witchers are unfeeling, so then they can change you into like, oh fuck, Ciri comes into Geralt's life and he really, like, it's the dramatic change, because it is in the book, because Geralt does like say like, oh, don't Witchers feel anything, and he goes like, yeah, we don't feel anything, and then he does things where you, like, in the books they go like, they add like details of like he hesitates for a moment, or he like looks at a flower, or he sees Yennefer and he like his heart skips a beat, and you're like, they add all these things that you're like, well, that's not what what you would think of a non-feeling thing.
I'm gonna be honest.
And so then adding in the whole Ciri thing makes it the whole thing of like with Geralt of like, oh fuck, this is like how I've lived my life, of I'm only unfeeling because of what I have to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's not because people believe I am, but it's because of how people treat me that I become unfeeling. And so then having the anti to that being this little girl, who is, I'm destined with, like tied to, like, he literally runs away from it and it still follows him, and that's what makes it so good. Then he becomes this fucking dad figure, this person who like falls in love with her as a little girl.
I like too that Ciri is what brings Yen and Geralt together more often, because like because if you look at them through most of the series, it is the dictionary definition of
a
toxic fucking couple. They love
and
each
not
other.
Even on Geralt's side.
It's I would say it's on both, because how many times in the books Geralt has cheated on her more times than he can commit, and even in the games, when you have your memory back with Yen, you can still be like, I'm gonna sleep with her best friend, one of them, Kira, because you can sleep with like two other people.
Kira?
So they're because
Kira, not Kira.
Metz,
Kira Knightley.
Kira Knightley.
Kira Netz.
Yeah, yes. You're gonna sleep with Triss, Kira, and not Priscilla. But you can sleep, and again in
false. I will give you one example of how, in the end, it's really Yennefer's fault, and why makes
the
Geralt,
fucking wizard.
Yes, it's when he goes to a town. He lives with her for like months, and he's like, all right, I'm fucking settling down, and I'm living with you, and I'm gonna do the thing where I go fight monsters, make us money, and you're gonna be the town mage or witch and heal people from, and help people get boners. Essentially, that's exactly what she does. He comes back and she's not there. This wizard shows up and he's like, hey, where's Yennefer? And he's like, why do you need her? And he's like, oh, you must be Geralt. And he's like, what? How do you know who I am? And he's like, oh, you're the one who's like hanging out with Yennefer. By the way, we've been fucking hard. And, you know, like, she's too good for you. And I also don't think you can handle her. Like, and you're keeping her down, honestly. You're caging this fucking raven. As like, that's the illustration, is a raven being caged. And he's like, you shouldn't do it. She needs to be somebody that understands her own kind. And he's like, I'll fucking kill you. And then he's like, okay, yeah, let's fucking, or he says we should fucking fight. And whoever wins gets to keep Yennefer. He goes there, beats the fuck out of him, and then says, you can have her. I'm not about to fight for this woman who doesn't give a shit about me. That's the defining thing where I'm go, okay, maybe he fucks around, but he does.
She fucks around way harder,
but he also doesn't fucking play games.
I think
he doesn't play. He goes, if Yennefer's not interested, I'm gonna fuck. But he literally for a season was like, he
gave it a shot.
He gave it a shot,
yet.
And still she was like, I don't like. Nah.
I'm basing mostly mine off of like, cause like I keep like listening to these reviews of like the Witcher books, and it's like, and everybody like The Witcher 3. I think that's why I'm so good with Yennefer and Geralt being a couple, is because of The Witcher 3. Because I feel like if I was reading through the series, I'd probably be like, yo, fuck her. Fuck everybody. Like, Geralt could just raise Ciri on your own and you'll be fine.
Here's what I'm...
Because The
I'm
Witcher 3
thinking.
made it like, oh, I'm cool with it. Because by that point...
If Geralt wants Yennefer, and here's the thing. I respect his, like, if he really wants somebody that's that broken and is willing to put in... Like, that's the thing. Geralt puts in the fucking work. He puts in the work in the relationship. And in the end, by Witcher 3, again...
In my Blood and Wine.
Not a book. Not a canonical book that was written by the creator of Witcher. In the end, it works out well. She kind of works through her trauma, and she works out, and she's like, oh my god, like Geralt is like a man that would like obviously like would fight and die for me, and I love him, and we also have fucking amazing sex.
Yeah.
But
top of the unicorn.
In the books though, there's so many times where they like meet up in a town, and he's just like intoxicated by her, and she knows it. And he's just like so fucking in love with her.
From what I can gather from all that is a lot of that is the short stories when he was still trying to figure out. He was like writing this, Yennefer on and off, and then in the books at least because
I'll say because no, here I'll tell you. So then they meet in this town for this festival, and they're like, oh, like blah, and then they lay in this field together, and then they fuck, and then she's like, I can't stay with you, and he's like, no, I don't know that. Like you could stay. Like, you could choose to stay. And she goes, well, that's not me. And he goes, okay, fine. And then she leaves in the morning, and he, like, just, like dreams about her, and then he wakes up, and then she's not there. It's fucked. Then they get Ciri, and the whole thing with, her getting Ciri. And so Yennefer's
Ciri
like,
she shows up in Blood of the Elves, right?
The second book.
Oh, in book 2?
Yes.
Or Sword of Destiny, like the short story novels.
So
because Last Wish, Sword of Destiny, and then Blood of the Elves.
It's the third.
So Blood of the Elves.
The Blood of the Elves, because the second one is when they do the fucking.
The Jinn storyline is in Sword of Destiny. I'm pretty sure.
Is in the first one. No,
it's in Last Wish. Or?
Yes, the last. That's the wish. Is her to stay connected with.
Yeah.
His wish is that he wants to stay connected in Yennefer's life.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that he wants her tied to him because he is in love. But the second book is when you get the story of Ciri's mom and dad, and that's the thing where the guy has been cursed to be a porcupine.
Yeah.
And that's that one. So you technically don't meet Ciri in that one. It ends. The second book ends with the fucking story of like, oh fuck, like it's the what is it called? The Law of Surprise.
Yeah.
Like that's oh fuck the Law of Surprise.
That is. Well, and then we find out with Witcher 3, it's like actually the dad was no, or at least at the beginning of Witcher 3 they tried to go. Actually, her dad was the king of Nilfgaard.
That's true.
Well, but I know because in Witcher 1 it's like the porcupine stuff, and they kind of, at least from what I remember, they tease it. Yeah.
Really, you get Ciri as a character in the third book.
Yeah, which is technically book 1 of the saga of like from storyline of like Blood of Elves to Lady of the Lake.
So, but though you get this other part with. So then Ciri is like, they're like, we have to find her somewhere safe where also she can like hone her powers, and that's Yennefer's like she has to be sent to the witch school.
Well, because first she goes
So
to
then
because
they go
first
to
she
the
goes
witch
to Kaer
school.
Morhen, because Yennefer has never been to Kaer Morhen, at least throughout the books.
No, that's where Triss takes care of her and blah blah blah.
So
But
you guys told me that, and then I started playing Witcher 3 again, and I was like,
That's a dream
This is a
sequence.
dream.
Yeah, because Yennefer has never lived, especially lived with Geralt and Kaer Morhen.
so then there's
Triss
this
has,
whole
though.
thing where like Geralt then gets invited to like this royal ball at the witch school, and Ciri's already like just beginning to attend. They're like, get her into the school, and she's there, and he's like delivers her there because this crazy seriously, it's a crazy fucking, it's all fate stuff where Ciri's on her way to the school, gets fucking like abducted, and a monster comes out of her. She's running through the forest like yelling, and Geralt is like somehow in the same area.
he's just walking through.
Yes, and he hears
Yeah.
Ciri, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, again, they haven't seen each other in like such a long
months.
time. And then he's like delivers her to the school. They have this big ball with all the witches and wizards, and then
Is that the lodge or no?
no, that's
Okay.
at the fucking
Okay.
the witch school.
Got it, yeah.
And then Geralt is being hit on by like all these other witches, but him with his true sight can like
You can see it all.
see all these witches and wizards are like fucking like 100 years old that
Trolls.
have like beautiful faces. Underneath they're like, oh, here's all these ugly fucking bitches. And then Yennefer and him, they fuck like super passionately, and then like after they fuck, Geralt's like, hey, like I really want like us to just like you know, you be a little witch and help people out in the village, and then I'll hunt for rabbit and like deer every night, and like I want that to be our life. And he really at that point really lays it out.
He's just ready to commit.
Yeah, and that's at book 4.
Yeah,
That's fucking book 4.
Yeah, I think
The
I think
real
my-
lesson
I think my
between-
problem with it all is that like Geralt is obviously wanting a woman who at the time doesn't want him, and then he makes that wish with the Jinn of like, no, I want to be in her life forever.
Yeah.
And then
Because that's the resolution
Yeah.
in Witcher 3.
and because clearly it's like Yennefer throughout most of the series is like fighting that hardcore where it's like, I like this guy, like he's great, but like I don't want, because her whole bit is like controlling her
controlled
life,
her whole life.
controlling her life versus the other
destiny.
thing, and then being tied to someone like that is like upsetting to her. And so you have that side, which that's why I think if I was reading the books, I don't think I'd like them at all as a couple. But Witcher 3, I know how it
No,
ends.
for sure.
And
Like, Triss makes sense because it's not fucking
well,
toxic.
Triss makes sense until you get to the games in which she goes, oh yeah, she intentionally lied to you to be like, oh yeah, Geralt, we know each other, let's fuck. And then in Witcher 2, he literally is like, I remembered Yennefer, and you see Triss go, like straight up. And Geralt, there are times where the game will not give you the option. Geralt gets mad at her where it's like, why didn't you fucking tell me that like me and Yennefer, and Triss has to like flounder of like, well, like and like that, because it's, yeah, she fully lies to Geralt to try to get Geralt to be with her. They make her way more they make Triss more toxic in the games, at least later. But anyway,
We should end.
we need to
I'm
end
so
because
fucking
he's sore
sore.
as fuck. Thank you guys for
position.
watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Keep the
Keep that energy up.
energy up. Tell us how we're doing. If you like our shit, even if you don't like our shit, talk shit to us in the comments because it'll get somewhere.
And if you know how to fix a 7th gen Celica, please come over.
And as always,
Take it sleazy.